You're done breathing into the. Are you done breathing into the microphone?
You hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, when I'm doing that, I thought you meant me breathing through my nose. I'm like, you could hear
just now. I just pressed record, and this first thing you did was
because I had to do the thing that people do before they start doing whatever they're doing. Still, though, you know how it is. Like,
no, I get it, but it was as soon as I pressed record, you did that. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing?
I had to get ready.
So here we go.
All right.
Heirs on air. We back at it again. Dante Senior, Dante Junior, and we back in business, family business. What's going on over there, Dante? What's the word?
Just chilling, just doing what I do, living life.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I see you got the hair flowing over there, but I'm going to keep my comments to myself. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, no, I just have my own style going on over here. That's all I'm doing.
I can respect it. I'm just going to say enjoy the hair while you got it.
Thanks.
Yeah, so today's topic, Dante. So before we jump into that, Caitlin Clark. What's your opinion of Caitlin Clark before we get started into the actual topic?
See, not gonna lie, I have been scrolling through social media here and there, and I've been seeing the Caitlin Clark controversy and all the questionable things that's been said about her.
Okay.
So it's interesting. That's all I can say.
So what do you think about her as a ball player? As a baller?
Oh, she can ball. That's all I can say. She can ball.
Yeah.
She's a good player.
Definitely. So today's topic, everybody hates Caitlin. As you just alluded to, the controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark. I don't know where it all comes from, but in this video, we're going to try to uncover part of the why people dislike Caitlin Clark, and at least to give you my opinion of it. And I want to discuss it with you to see if where you're coming from and whether you understand where it is that I'm coming from, or just the general controversy about Caitlin Clark.
Okay. I'm about to say, discussing about this in basketball, I know it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it should be. So no need to delay any further. Let's get to it. Let's see what's happening here with Caitlin Clark.
All right.
I saw where you said the WNBA, they're targeting Caitlin Clark. What do you mean by how she's being guarded or, enforced?
I think you and I both know the landscape that we live in today, both sports-wise and non-sports-wise, right? We are in a red-blue. And if you're red, you can't agree with blue. And if you're blue, you can't agree with red. Whereas most things are in the middle. If you're a college player and you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP at the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning. So if you're a WNBA player, and believe me, I've coached the best, and I've pissed them off a lot, and they let me know about it. But they were tremendously disrespected. And none of them are going to say it. But human nature is, okay, this kid's coming into the league. And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement. Targeted by society, targeted by her looks, targeted by her reputation, targeted by the disrespect that they've shown to the WNBA. There's a huge target on this kid's back.
How do you think Clark is handling this?
I think she's handling great. I think she talks a lot of and she gets a lot of back. So she deserves everything she gets because she gives it as good as she gets it. She's just not built for the physicality of this league. Yeah, and she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality. So there's a lot of learning curve, like Diana said.
What's coming? There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it. You look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
And she needs to be more experienced, and that will come. But for these ridiculous fans who had her slotted as the next Diana down, they're out of their mind.
Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not. Not gonna happen.
Coming out of Iowa, Caitlin Clark wanted to play for Geno at Connecticut. According to Clark, Geno didn't try to lure her to Connecticut. I loved Connecticut. I think they're the coolest place on earth, and I wanted to say I got recruited by them. They called my coach a few times, but they never talked to my family and never talked to me. Clark was ranked as the number 4 player in the 2020 high school class as well, and certainly on Geno's radar, so why didn't Clark take her talents to stores? Well, there just so happened to be a young lady named Paige Beckers, who was the unanimous number 1 player in the 2020 class. Beckers committed in April 2019, while Clark didn't announce her commitment to Iowa until November of that year. Geno claimed that Clark didn't make it abundantly clear she wanted to commit to Connecticut. Geno said that if Caitlin wanted to go to Connecticut, she should have been the one to pursue him. In addition, Geno also had some questions about whether Clark could play on both sides of the ball and could play high-level competition.
She's just not built for the physicality of this league.
Yeah,
And she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality.
Okay. There was a lot being said there. I'll let you go first. Go for it.
I think it's funny how Geno was talking about like delusional fan base and then like disrespecting the WNBA players. Because is it really disrespectful? Like, is it really disrespect for hyping up a rookie? Just hype. They're not saying like, oh, these other WNBA veterans, they ain't nothing compared to Caitlin Clark. It's not like they're not saying all that.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's a little overreaction.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, it wasn't Caitlin Clark coming in saying that she's going to be the greatest ever. Her fans should support her. Her fans should want her to be the greatest player ever if that's what they're looking for. But I will say, Geno, I want to say he fumbled saying that her fan base is delusional and that they're stupid. I haven't seen him do an interview since then. I'm sure those are words he would likely want to take back. That doesn't show well for Geno Auriemma and the whole entire UConn program, but it is what it is. And the disrespect to the current WNBA players, I think it's a bit of a stretch. Your generation is coming in and you guys aren't asking for permission. You guys are taking what you feel is yours. And that's what any young person should do. You have the advantage of having youth on your side. You should want to go out and prove everybody wrong and make a name for yourself. You're not asking for permission. You're just, making your own path. And, that was a bad look from Geno, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's like, I think that's the beauty of it too. It's just like trying to make your own path and do what you want to do and make your own name for yourself instead of trying to live in somebody else's shadow.
Exactly. And secondly, the second point that was made there was that Geno did not, or not Geno, the University of Connecticut did not seriously recruit Caitlin Clark. Now, as the graphic showed, she was the number 4 country in the player behind Paige Buchers. And then you understand that if Paige Buchers has already made her intent that she wanted to attend the University of Connecticut, they kind of figure, okay, we have the number 1 player. There's really no need to go after the number 4 player. But to say that Caitlin should have contacted him, that's not the way recruiting really works, especially at that higher level. If Caitlin was number 150th player, potentially now you got to contact him, but the number 4 player has to contact him? No. Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely
Yeah, that's just crazy. That's just, I don't know. That's kind of like a very, not inaccurate, but it's a very telling way of saying like, yeah, we kind of, fumbled a little bit right there, but it's just, but
Very
won't
true.
take the full blame.
Very true. I mean, even myself, for example, I was a small Division I athlete, went to an HBCU, and I didn't contact the schools. The schools contacted me. I mean, there were schools that my coach reached out to, but generally the school that I ended up committing to, they reached out to me. I didn't have to contact them. That's crazy in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, bad look for Geno on that one. I don't really know. There's really not much more we want to talk about that, but here we go. On to the next one.
Now they go to point 8. Clark to inbound, Iowa by 2, point 8 to go, and that will do it! Iowa survives Connecticut and heads back to the national championship game.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark.
She is officially a member of the Indiana Fever.
Let's do it! Number 1! We love Caitlin! This crowd is amazing. The support that we have in Indianapolis makes me even more excited for the season to start.
It's super great to see this crowd like this. Let's go! Let's go!
The Indiana Fever select Caitlin
Reality is coming.
Caitlin Clark all night tonight. Are you talking about my high school experience? Clark connects.
The young one here, Caitlin Clark, just dancing with the basketball, going to her left, stepping into it.
Back Benley. Here's Clark, a good look from 3. She got it. The first.
Caitlin Clark does not need much space here.
Is this shooting? That was a wild sequence there. Clark to switch on to Dolson, steps back and buries a triple. Turns, ducks in, back Benley stays with her, blocked from behind, that was Clark. Now Clark looking to push, cross-court pass. Pull, back to Clark, she will launch and bury a 3. Second quarter, and Clark doing it with some defense. Comes up with the block.
She's just not built for the physicality of this league.
6 on the shot clock. Clark, a deep 3. Oop, that is! Where one guard is just a lot stronger than the other because of her experience and maturity.
Nice look from Clark, and Smith lays it home. So you have 2 assists and a bucket on the first 3 possessions.
Quarter we have seen Caitlin Clark play, showing
Caitlin Samuelson at the 4. Clark bounce pass it, Smith again.
To the bucket. Just a great delivery. I mean, putting it on the money.
Can't hit the long 2. Stays here with Indiana. Clark, a deep one. You bet! A Brooklyn logo bomb. Kimbrough, she will launch. Samuelson, nice pass there to Clark. Clark behind the back. Oh, it's Smith with the finish. Brilliance from Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality.
Look at Wheeler staring to the right side, knows who's there, drop pass behind. Could be the deepest shot we've seen Caitlin Clark make as a pro.
So it starts out with Iowa knocking out UConn in the 2024 women's Final Four semifinal game before Iowa went on to face South Carolina, ultimately lose. But go ahead, jump in.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it'd be like that, with the ending. But so this is I believe this is where the hate or the saltiness comes from. Started out, at least.
You think it started? I think it started with the recruiting, but
No,
Yeah,
because like it could and it couldn't, because I think if Caitlin Clark wasn't as good as she was in college, then it wouldn't really matter.
I
It was
agree.
like, all right, well, I made the right decision. But
I
since
agree.
yeah, so now since she's balling out and kicked them out of the Final Four, now it's like, yeah, I don't want to hear none of this. Like, it's like I don't want to hear none of this. I'm not trying to talk about this. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I do agree with you on that point. Geno missed, he didn't recruit her, but then she's going on to have this amazing career, all-time NCAA women's leading scorer, multiple college basketball records. And then she knocks him out of the tournament only by 2 points. It was a close game, but yeah, I can see where the saltiness is starting to build from Geno Auriemma. So I definitely agree with that.
And I think it's like after that, like, when Caitlin Clark got drafted, and now it's just more and more hype going on. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that's where the delusional fans he's like trying to come at.
Yeah.
It's just like when Caitlin Clark got drafted, and it's like it builds off that. Not only it builds more saltiness, but it just builds more like, it's like funny talking, like how he says that he pisses people off,
Mm-hmm.
and people let him know about that. But now since the people are pissing him off, now it's a problem. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
come on. And it's funny how he was like she also talks shit, but then she gets shit talked right back. So it's just like,
Mhm.
doesn't it work for you though if you do the same thing?
Yeah.
So
Well, Caitlin Clark, well, going back to Diana Taurasi, when she said reality is coming.
yeah,
The reality that was coming was Caitlin Clark tearing up the WNBA. As Geno says, her delusional fan base, she did come in, and it wasn't even Caitlin Clark. As I was doing research for this, it wasn't even Caitlin Clark saying it. She seems like a really nice person, down to earth. She's just, she's just looking to destroy everything in front of her. Shout out to Anthony Edwards. But man, the reality that was coming to the WNBA was Caitlin Clark. And little did they know back in April or May or whatever it was that she was going to come in and have the type of impact that she had. Because even from the highlights that she had, not only can she shoot, she's a playmaker. I think one of her underrated skills is definitely passing. Her court vision, like I said, as I was looking at her highlights, and she sees the floor unbelievably well. Unbelievably well. Like she's just dropping dimes left and right.
yeah, she can definitely pass the ball well. And it's just like the more you look at her game, it's like you could kind of base it off of Steph Curry a little bit. It may be a stretch to some people, but I could see it. It's like, I think, like, what do you think?
I agree also. As I was researching it and looking at her highlights, she's always, one thing I've noticed about her and Steph Curry, which are very, very similar, always on balance. Always on balance, dribbling head up, looking at the rim, looking at the floor. And when she pulls up, she's never off balance. Even when she shoots an off balance three, you could tell, or an off balance shot, you could tell that she's practiced that before. No one's forcing her to take these bad shots. And for Geno Auriemma to say that she's not physical enough, or she's not strong enough, and she's not quick enough in the league, I think, looking at her highlights, she's the fastest person with the ball in the WNBA. She's sneaky fast. That's what it is. And she's shifty, just like Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Like Steph Curry, he's going to drop you off with the ball. He's going to step back and shoot it because you're off balance, because he's on balance. He knows what he's going to do to get you off balance. As soon as you're off balance, an inch of daylight and he's shooting the ball. I see the same things in Caitlin Clark. But also another person who plays like that is Chelsea Gray. She plays for the Las Vegas Aces. She plays that way, but Caitlin Clark is just taking it to another level. Chelsea Gray, I don't see her with Caitlin Clark's speed. Like I said, Caitlin Clark has that like sneaky speed, and I think it's surprising people when they play her how fast she really is.
Like she's like sly with it. I get what you mean.
Yeah. It's really like, it's like, you play against somebody and you see them on film and you're like, okay, but when you see them in reality, you're like, damn.
Yeah, right.
It shocks you how fast she is, or it shocks you someone's skill level, or you play someone against someone and they're stronger than you expect. And it's just like, oh, Okay.
It's-
okay.
Yeah.
I think it's happening here.
Yeah.